are supplemented by radio links to other bunkers and to reconnaissance aircraft. Each regional authority is represented in the command structure imposed from Kirknewton. In Eastern Zone, both the Lothian and Borders regions have wartime headquarters. In Lothian region, Turnhouse, the peacetime and administrative centre for Lothian region's Highways Department, becomes in wartime the regional headquarters. From the basement, the region's chief executive officer and emergency planning officer would head a team to administer the local government policies dictated through the zones. The secret Lothian War Plan reveals that the peacetime local government departments have already been given responsibilities for wartime activity. At least a dozen employees of the Lothian Regional Council know that they will have a place in the region's basement bunker at Alderstone House. Apart from an unhappy and uncontrollable population, the biggest threat to Alderstone House is its proximity to Turnhouse nuclear power station, which, on completion, would be a likely target if the destruction of sources of nuclear material were an objective in a nuclear strike. With over 600 nuclear missiles pointing at Britain, discussion of particular targets might seem academic. As far as protect and survive is concerned, we are led to believe that we do not know which targets will be chosen or how severe the assault will be. On the basis of that argument, the minimum of do-it-yourself defence is described for the public. But as we see, the maximum of defence is built for the government and military bodies. During a recent war exercise, Operation Square Leg, the war planners acted out a hypothetical nuclear attack on Britain. 26 bombs dropped on Scotland. All civilian airports capable of refuelling and servicing military aircraft would be prime targets in a nuclear strike. Grangemouth is essential to the functioning of industry in Scotland. The stocks of petrochemicals and the refinery plants would be targets for any aggressor. The wartime government has special plans to deal with energy supplies in the event of nuclear war. Rosyth Dockyard is an important centre for Britain's Polaris submarines. Here maintenance and repair work is carried out, as well as routine inspections of the Polaris fleet. Rosyth receives and dispatches regular shipments of nuclear materials. Road and rail communications would be destroyed by a nuclear strike at Rosyth. Just north of the fort, Pitreavie Castle houses a major military command, in sight of both Rosyth and the bridges. Its operations room is protected well underground. The bunker being built here at Pitreavie is for telecommunications equipment, essential to NATO's functioning in the UK. Among its tasks, Pitreavie is responsible for monitoring the movement of Soviet submarines. Though vulnerable because of its location, most of its important functions would be carried out prior to a nuclear attack. Some staff do have civil defence duties, and from the Pitreavie bunker may coordinate provision of air reconnaissance after an attack. Craigie Hall lies on the southern side of the Forth. In the days leading to a nuclear exchange, Craigie Hall would have complete charge of authority over all armed forces in Scotland. Very extensive protected accommodation at Craigie Hall will ensure the survival of many units of the armed forces. By contrast, the people in the city of Edinburgh are not provided for in terms of public fallout shelter. Immediately after an attack, all food stores and shop stocks will become the responsibility of the zone government. Food stores will be protected by the police and military, who will have first call on any resources that survive. While Ewan follows Protect and Survive to protect his family from the heat blast of a nuclear explosion, we can begin to see the double standard that comprises civil defence. We build ludicrous shelters, far less than adequate, and stay home to fry. From the chaos that would follow a nuclear bombardment, the government that had planned and led the drive towards war would emerge from the shelters to implement a programme of national survival. Civil defence is not a plan to provide for the defence and protection of the population. Protect and Survive is a self-help guide, approaching nuclear war protection with less thought than in the construction of a doll's house or tree hut. Civil defence is a programme to preserve a system of government. As a senior civil servant wrote in a lurid Home Office account of his expectations of post-nuclear Britain, in conditions of anarchy, the implementation of measures necessary for national survival would be impossible, and the maintenance of public order would be one of the essential tasks of wartime regional government. Law and order is number one on the list, not food supplies, not medical aid. First, the government must reassert its authority, receive due recognition, and then consider the supply of food and medical assistance. Civil defence is a plan for the protection of government through a period in which many people are likely to be hostile to authority. In fact, some aspects of civil defence planning are already implemented during major industrial disputes. In one example, the police support units, as seen in action in the summer riots, were designed with a post-nuclear role in mind. But, as the Police Home Defence Manual advises, Chief Constables will have opportunities to practice the units in peacetime when suitable policing tasks arise.